I'm focusing a series of videos on something that we all experience but we have limited knowledge on. What am I talking about? Emotional intelligence. How to understand emotions to then master emotions. We have 27 basic emotions. Where do we live emotionally most of the time? Do we understand our blueprint, which is our nervous system? Do we pay much attention to our life map, which is your life wheel? Do we pay attention to where we are and bridging the gaps to where we want to get to? Are we aware of where we are right now is where we want to be? But what's our inner conflict and what emotional state does that put us into? I'll give you an example. If you set up a company and you want it to be 3 to 5 million within 3 years, but you're only sitting at $1 million when making losses, you're going to have an inner conflict. If you're 25 years of age, but you wanted to be married with children at that age, but you're 30 and you're not married and you've no children and you're not even in a relationship, you'll have an internal conflict emotionally. And that's why when it comes to the book, 40 Years of Evidence, the 1% Mindset book should have been called Getting Back Up Every Time I Fell Down. And that exercise was generated in 1988. In 1986, I had my first company. In 1988, I was flat on my back in a hospital with exhaustion. I used to get up at 5 in the morning, go to my bed into a new day, and it was a 7-day-a-week operation. And I remember that day as if it was yesterday, but one of the commitments I gave to myself was, I walked to that hospital and I sat on a bench and I said to myself, richness comes from feeling peace and feeling good for no reason at all. And if I want to do that, I need to understand every aspect of me. And that's what I did from that day forward, and that's why I can see myself on the bench every day, because it's a pinnacle moment. And I drive past that hospital every single day and I see where the bench was, and I see myself sitting there and making a commitment, because the concept is not allowing that to interfere with that. You have to understand this, then you make more sense of this. And that's why measuring your emotions every hour on the hour. But it's also about what you want to know. There's my brainwaves. There's my alpha. Now it's 8 to 10, it's the most relaxed part of the brain. It's the daydream state of the brain. And that's where I live the majority of the time. It's about going through life and asking yourself, how much do you want to know about what lies within? How much do you want to know about your neurology, emotions, the brain activity, how the brain functions? I've spent my life doing it. But what I realise is, don't believe everything you think. It's not just about thoughts putting you into state. It's about the meaning that you give to life based upon your nervous system and how you want life to be. How do you want to be remembered? Then you can start to then understand neurology. I can give you the triad model, I can give you the blueprint, I can give you the life map, I can give you meanings to understand your unconscious, subconscious and conscious mind, heart and brain coherence. I've spent my life doing this, but it's a simple task to basically understand. There's 27 basic needs, there's a blueprint, there's a life map, there's paying attention to how you feel, because if the anchor is that you want to feel good for no reason at all, you have to become aware of how you're feeling. And that's why the exercise is in the book. Once you get into this state of going to nature every day and nature at night, plus having all the gadgets round about you that can put you into alpha state as often as you can, like a wee daydream state, even if it's for 2-minute intervals. Once you start to ask yourself who you are and what you want, you start creating products like defining what lies beyond excellence. And as I'm talking to you, we've got people employed here who are actually selling this product and putting it under the people's noses in Dubai. But guess what the theme of the whole concept of this is? It's about getting leaders to understand themselves, but understanding one another. Because when you go into this emotional intelligence and deep understanding at a neurological level, you have massive breakthroughs. You clear all your choke codes and you start to see further than you could see before. So look below. It's about creativity and innovation. Tomorrow will be about anger and frustration. And I'm going to start to do a series of videos to educate you and understand and create an awareness of how people function as human beings, especially around emotional intelligence. Hope that helps.